Ready? Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order this public meeting of the Board of Johnson County Commissioners on this 20th day of December 2021 at 10 o'clock. Please pray with us if you care to, and then we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you bow with me for a moment of prayer, please? Dear Heavenly Father, as we enter this most glorious time of the year when we celebrate the birth of your Son, Jesus, the greatest gift of all. But dear Lord, we come to you with saddened hearts today, though, as we reflect on those who lost all of their belongings and many lives in Kentucky and surrounding states. And dear Lord, we just pray that you'd be with them and they'd be with you, that they would understand that you're with them every step of the way through the good and the bad. And your blessing will see them through. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. 2022 material bid award recommendations and contract execution.
Good morning, Luke Maston, Highway Supervisor. These are the award recommendations for our 2022 Highway Department material bids. There's a sheet that was attached that went into more detail on certain items that were awarded to multiple vendors, but generally recommendation for award for motor fuel is Gladio. Recommendation for concrete is Shelby Materials. Recommendation for aggregate, which is crushed limestone, Wardstone. Crushed gravel, CGS Services / Crossroads. Liquid asphalt is a mixture of recommendation of primary and secondary awards to Marathon Petroleum and Asphalt Materials based on a specific material. Same holds true for FOB hot mix asphalt. Primary and secondary awards between Milestone of plants 11 and 32 and Reith Riley.
I'm good with everything. Is it going to be a big deal with the fuel supplier to change over, because we've used petroleum traders for the last, I know, 2 or 3 years?
Last several years, they've been the low bidder. Shouldn't be a significant issue. I mean, I don't anticipate any concerns. Early on, when we have a new vendor, there is a bit of time just getting accustomed to how our fuel side is set up for deliveries, but there aren't really any major issues that a supplier would run into. All of our dumping locations are outside of the fence and easily accessible.
Okay, then I would make the motion to approve all of his listed awards.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Do we have some other bids we have to open?
What?
Do we have some other stuff that needs to be opened?
That's, yeah, the next thing is the opening of sealed quotes.
For the center chiller replacement?
Right. The first one is from Suxton Mechanical. Suxton's quote is $138,193, 138,193.00. Next is from Fairer Mechanical Services in Indianapolis. Fair's quote is $177,000, 177,000.00. final quote is from Irish Mechanical. Let's see here. Irish's quote is $117,500, 117,500.00. And I think Harrison is in the audience if you want to have him review.
Him and Jason. Yeah, I'd motion to have Jason and Wes take a look at those and come back next meeting with the final answer.
I have a motion and a second. I guess my only question would be, do we need to do anything sooner than that? Or is the next meeting okay for approval? Okay. Just want to make sure. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Ordinance number 2021-0-19, amending Johnson County Ordinance 90-5 regarding the Needham Fire Protection District.
To approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Health Department, acceptance of resignation letter and approval to enter into a phone agreement.
Betsy Swearingen, Director, Health Department. My first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the resignation letter of Dr. George Small from our Board of Health.
So accepted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second one is to permission to enter into an agreement with AT&T for a on-call phone for our nursing department. They currently give out their personal cell phones, and we've had some patients that are known felons and have been known to call those numbers late at night and take advantage. And so would prefer to get a kind of buy here, pay here phone so that they can use that.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy.
Thanks, Betsy. Public Safety Communication approval of contract with Source Inc. Wireless Solutions pending legal review.
Keith Brandt, 911 Director. What this is all the equipment that was just recently approved for purchase for the mobile command. In that, there's a 1-year service agreement with the equipment. And that's what this is.
Move to approve. Pending legal.
Pending legal. A motion and second, pending legal. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heath. Prosecutor approval of Gordon Flesh Company, Inc. Master Agreement pending legal review.
Move to approve pending legal.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion and second, pending legal. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I know under our red line, number 1 on highway is off.
Correct.
Is that? I assume it's still on the ones that they have in the audience at this point, so. Is that correct?
What's that?
Is it still on the ones that the audience?
Yes.
has? Okay,
Yeah.
just so we know, highway number 1 has been removed from the agenda.
Correct.
Just for record.
That wouldn't happen to be that pole that sits right there next to the road, is it?
No, it would not be.
Stone Crossing and Saddle Club intersection project.
First item, Luke Maston Highway Supervisor, is our recommendation to approve and execute the construction inspection contract for our upcoming Stone Crossing Road and Saddle Club Road intersection project. This contract is with Crossroad Engineers, the amount of $144,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a quiet second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is a recommendation for approval and execution of the construction plans title sheet for the same project. This title sheet needed to be signed and sent into NDOT to be submitted with the final construction plans ahead of the project bid.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Final item for the same project, Stones Crossing and Saddle Club intersection, is a reimbursement agreement for utility relocation with Duke Energy. A portion of Duke's existing facilities are within an existing Duke easement, which means they are eligible for cost reimbursement to move those utilities. This agreement is in the amount of $36,454.32.
How many poles is that?
On the north side of the road, thinking 3 or 4, if I remember correctly.
Is that one of the closest ones to the road?
Yes, this would
Yeah,
be,
good.
these would
I'm
be.
trying to
close
get that
the
thing
road.
moved for
Yes.
15 years.
There won't be any poles close to the road anymore once the project. is
Yeah,
done.
I would not think so. Move to approve,
This is pending legal.
pending legal. Yeah.
Second.
I have a motion and second pending legal. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Approval of 2022 contract for Johnson County litigation attorney with William Barrett Wilkowski.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Amoresco Inc. Guaranteed Energy Savings Contract Savings Report for year 4.
Move to approve.
Yeah,
Not a
second.
whole lot we can do.
Huh?
Not a whole lot we can
Yeah.
change about it. Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Approval of owner's representative agreement with Wesley B. Harrison, PE for ARPA projects.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further?
Thank you, Wes.
Yes, thank you, Wes. Appreciate all your help. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of Johnson County Employee Handbook revisions.
Pay for some good reading.
Oh, yeah. I do want to
Bedtime stories.
I want to point out that the business travel policy is actually a joint council and commissioner ordinance, so that is not before you today. I plan to bring that to you on January 10th and to the council as well. Other than that, these changes have been in the works for some time, and do want to note the work of Judge Nugent, Brandy Foster Kirkendall, Joe Villanueva, Dalen Walliver, in trying to come up with a county-wide handbook that will work for everyone. So we'll see what happens.
I would move to approve after all 2 years.
Yep.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any
Oh,
further
I
discussion?
have one more thing, I'm sorry. We have an effective date of December 30th on that. And then as far as the comp time implementation goes, do want to remind you and the other elected officials and department heads that there is the option for those elected officials and department heads to opt out of comp time and pay overtime in lieu of comp time if they prefer. So if they're going to do that, I will send out an email as well, but they need to let me know, and then we can get with the auditor's office and get coordinated for that. Okay.
Yeah, I read that. I didn't understand why they would have an option to opt out of comp time. I thought it was just you could or you couldn't pay overtime or do comp time.
That's true.
Why would they take an option to opt out of it?
Well, I think that some of the departments are more comfortable just paying the overtime, and they would prefer not to have comp time on the table for their departments at all. And I think that some of the 28-day pay cycle employees, that causes a little bit of an issue for them as well. So then maybe they just opted to to pay overtime and keep doing it like we've been doing it for the past 5
Yeah.
or so years.
I
Which
understand,
we
that,
are rather anyway.
Yeah,
understand that, but I couldn't understand why they just simply wouldn't use comp time. They just do overtime.
that's exactly what's gonna happen, Ron. We just put it in there to memorialize it so that they know that they have an option.
For the next group.
Betsy Swearingen, Director, Health Department. Is it a all or nothing overtime or comp time, or can it be a combination of both?
Let's talk later.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Because I think we have told, I think the sheriff is going to do for his 28-day employees, just pay overtime. I'm looking at, sorry, Andy's behind you, right? 28-day, okay. And I think the rest of his employees will be able to earn comp time. So Betsy, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, about the particulars, okay? Thank you. You love it.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with that. I don't know that we would give each department singularly the ability to opt out of any portion of it just doesn't make sense to me. If it's available to them, they either exercise it or don't. I mean, why would somebody come back and opted out of vacation time or opted out of something else? I'm just leery of letting each department begin to select what they want to do in and out. That begins to really dilute the employee handbook when you start that.
No, I don't think that's true. And I think administratively, if it's easier for the department to just continue to use paid overtime, especially in some of our specialized departments like the highway department or with our 28-day pay employees, then we should leave that option open. And I think that's the agreement we had back in July when we first talked about this. And of course, we've had it for review in October and November as well. So it's ultimately a policy decision, but I don't have a legal position as to whether or not that's valid. I think it's fine either way, as long as the employees are being compensated for the additional time worked, whether through comp time or through money.
I think, I guess what I'm getting is that your concern is the wording of opting out when really that option is there anyway.
Yeah, they already have the option to either exercise it or not.
Difference.
That kind of, that's, and that in itself becomes binding on their predecessor. The next elected official, then if they wanted to use comp time as an example, they'd have to come back to us and we'd have to go through the.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, I don't know if we are actually requesting that the department heads and elected officials get explicit permission from you. By putting in the handbook, you're giving them the choice to opt out or opt in. And as far as their successors go, they will be able to make that choice as well.
I
I think it's honestly, I think it's meaningless. Like
So
if
what?
it's in there or not, I don't think it matters. I think it's still, they still have a choice. So we put it in there.
Based on that comment, whether it's in there or not, doesn't matter, then I would say not.
What- what-
Not the choice.
the opt-in, yeah, opt-in. It doesn't matter to me. I can delete it.
I know it doesn't,
It's
but it
meaningless.
does to me. You got something about that, Andy, you want to say? I didn't know if he had any input there. He wanted to say anything.
You asked if you had any input, Chief.
Andy Barnhart, Chief Deputy of the Sheriff's Office. I think the only purpose would be, I guess, so that like our 28-day employees, we could officially say it's never an option for you. I suppose if it was there that the terminology of being able to opt out, it almost, I don't know, I didn't read the wording of it. I don't know if it could be the employee thinks that they get to choose one way or another, and we would like some of our staff to be able to do that. So, we have minimum staffing levels and things like that we would, so maybe by having the opt out in there, we can officially say that we're opting out. This group of this division can do comp time or may not, and the other division might. That would be the only reason I could see. But if it's going to be at the discretion of the elected official and the division commanders anyway, so.
Yeah,
That's the
you
only
already
item.
have that option to opt out. Well, not opt out, but not used.
Not use it.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't think it hurts either way. And I don't know if taking out or leaving it in really makes a difference, I guess. So to me, it's just more words or less words, I guess. What do you think, Commissioner?
It's a glass half empty.
Well, I moved to leave it out. That wording.
Could you specify for the record what exactly the language is that you want taken out?
Provision to opt out.
I don't think it says that.
Guess we need to pull it up and look at it. Put this baby to bed.
Well, we had lengthy debate over the use of comp time anyway, and I don't remember during all of that time, the provision to opt out was ever expressed. I don't recall it now. It doesn't mean that didn't come up, but I don't remember anybody ever saying anything about it during that period of
I
negotiation.
actually think it was in the previous version,
Yeah.
back when we had it before,
Yeah.
before 2016. They explicitly stated the same thing, I'm almost certain, because I copied that language.
Yeah,
back
we
in.
didn't specifically talk about it in the meeting, but we did, it was in the both of the original
but-
texts.
Yeah, yet, but we did away with comp time after that, so that whatever was in there previously wouldn't have any.
Yeah, but there's no reason for me to start from scratch as far as
Well,
drafting.
I
If what was
understand.
working
Yeah.
before was working, and it was, until and then we got rid of it. So there's no reason for me not to go back to that language and adopt it for the new version.
Well, based on that, then I still would suggest we remove the terminology of opt out.
I don't think it says that. Hold on here.
I don't want to belabor it.
It says non-exempt employees may receive at the discretion of the elected official or department head compensatory time off in lieu of overtime pay. That's what it says.
So I don't- Can you read that one more time? I tried
That's okay.
finding, lost it.
It's all right. Non-exempt employees may receive at the discretion of the elected official or department head compensatory time off in lieu of overtime pay.
I don't see that being a bother. Yeah. And that's what the motion is on. Because I have a
So you
motion on
want,
the floor.
so you want
to-
that sentence out? That's your motion?
No, the motion,
No,
on
they got
the-
the
Motion
discretionary.
sets as it stands with what I originally said.
yeah, we're motioning, we have to finish out the motion we have. Motion we have on the floor is as it reads now.
Oh, I
If
thought.
that doesn't pass, then
I
he
misunderstood.
just motioned when he didn't know Kevin motioned, I don't think.
I guess I
No,
didn't
I
either.
didn't.
We have a motion on the floor to
Did a
accept it the
second,
way.
did they have a second for that motion?
No, not yet. But we haven't
That
got
would
to
be
that
you.
yet.
I don't.
There was,
We'll
Kevin
gather
made a
that.
motion, Ron seconded, and it was effective for December 30th. But then there was discussion
Thank you.
that moved forward. So there is a motion and there is a second. There is no
Oh, I
vote.
did second.
Yes.
Shame on me.
Al,
There we go again.
I'm gonna
This
take
thing
it,
never-
I'm gonna take it forward. I have a motion and a second.
Oh,
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
All those opposed, nay.
That's me.
We got him.
And if it does become an issue, Commissioner, we'll deal with it as we've always dealt with all the other issues.
Right. And this thing is never perfect. You know that.
It's
So
a liquid document.
Motion is approved. I think we get back to the wording is probably always going to be an issue in any discussion that we would have on it, but I think the wording there is not going to hurt anything or make a difference in it at this point, but I understand your point, Commissioner. I do. Commissioners, 2022 employee appointments.
5.
And unless the general public wants to hear the list and you want to read it, in the absence of that, I'll move to approve the list as presented.
I will second that one. I know there's discussion on one, but I'll go ahead and second it for now.
Well, I have a motion and a second on the list as per it is listed on us. Any further discussion? I'm not going to make an issue out of it at this point in time, but as everyone knows, I still disagree with one of the appointments, and that's the Community Corrections Director. And I will continue to object to that till the day I die. So with that said, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Designated appointee to JRAC Board. JRAC Board. We have all these.
Can I,
Yeah, or I can introduce it. It's up to you.
you can go ahead.
So there was a new law passed this year for a local justice reinvestment advisory council. I guess I can't say it. And the membership includes the president of the county executive or the designee. And I just wanted to formally, or whoever this will be, formally either.
You have to. make that motion.
I think, Brian, actually, you can probably just, if you're going to designate it, I think you can unilaterally do it because it's your, it would be you otherwise.
So just, yeah.
Just designate him if you're gonna do it.
So do I have to move to designate that, or can I
I
just
don't think you're
designate it
required
once
to
we
vote. I
approve it?
think you can just designate him
Okay.
and just do it on the record.
And this is a discussion that has been ongoing on this board appointment through emails, but I would designate that it be Commissioner Walls as a motion. Because I don't want to do it unless Commissioner West has an interest.
I was kind of interested in it because it kind of goes back to what I was working on for a number of months and years there in relation to therapeutic community rehabilitation and recidivism and things of that nature, but
I've got a program working right now that's not been unveiled yet, and I'm probably neck deep in it right now. So I just think it would be fluid with what I'm working on. That would be where I'm at.
Can we have two designees?
No. Now, whether or not
Because I see the
they'd
point.
allow you to attend. I mean,
Yeah, I see the point both
and
ways.
if there's some controversy, you can wait till the next meeting. if you
Yeah,
wanna.
let's, why don't we?
Flip a coin round.
no,
I say one, but I mean, I assume there can be some discussion on who's working on what, correct?
Yeah.
So we can maybe
Well,
deal with this at a later time.
I think I kind of know what you're both asking. So you and I can talk about it.
Okay. Let's
Table it.
let's
No
table it.
motion to table.
second,
I have a motion and a second to table. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those areas where because of the open door law, we can't do business the way we should be able to do business. So I'll say again, we need our legislators to change their stance on the open door law. Anyway. Board appointments, Alcohol Beverage Commission, Board 1 needs to be appointed.
We have 5 applicants and they are all qualified.
The William Bill Withers is the current and has applied for reappointment. We have Nathan Blackwell, Todd Shuck, Tyler Clausen, maybe Clausen, I bet, and Stephen Pezarina. I don't
I
know.
don't think Mr. Withers has been on there very long. I think he's a new appointee. So I'm going to move for Mr. William Withers.
Second.
I have a motion and second for, to reappoint William Withers. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Board of Health, 3 needed. And we have the resignation of Dr. Small.
Looks like we have one option.
Do we?
I would
Yeah.
move for the 2 Strokes and Paulzak to be reappointed, and we need a third, which would be Mr. Tyler Clausen.
Did you say the third one to Tyler Clausen?
Is there any qualifications we have to meet on this?
Yeah, the 3 applicants will fit with the statutory scheme. The Mr. Clausen, it appears, would just be a general public seat. Other than that, you've got enough physicians and enough healthcare workers.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Betsy.
She snuck up on us. I saw
Maybe
her.
she has something to add, sorry.
No, I normally in the past, the 2 are up for reappointment and they've expressed interest in continuing. The third one, we just normally go through the process of finding somebody or finding 3 people that fit the criteria, and then we bring them to you with our recommendation. But if this takes care of the job and he's interested and he fits the criteria, then we're fine with that.
You have a motion? I have a motion. I have a second. I have a motion and second for the 2 reappointments and the new appointment of Mr. Clausen. Any further?
The only thing, Betsy, and most of these appointments are difficult time for all 3 of us to come up with people, decisions, meeting criteria. I'm going to say this, if any of these don't work out or become a major issue, I would ask to come back to this board and talk to us about it.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Buffer zone, Franklin, Indiana, 1 appointment, and we have 1.
I would move for Ms. Charlotte Sullivan to be reappointed since she's the only one out there.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Community Corrections Advisory Board, we have 1 appointment and 1 applying for reappointment.
I would move for Miss Angela Morris to be reappointed.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Convention Visitor and Tourism Board, we have 2 that have applied for reappointment, Brian Alvey and Kim Smith. And then we have 3 new ones. Joe Denning is resigning, so. We have Dustin Brenton, Jeanette Lincoln, and Tara Payne. Any preference, gentlemen?
I'm gonna step out here. I think the 2, Kim and Brian, have both been on that and very active on that board.
They do very well.
There's 2 of them, the Brenton Advertising, and that Jeanette Lincoln has a lot of experience in hotels. So I'm going to reach out there and say Jeanette Lincoln.
Second.
And then Brian and Kim.
And Brian and Kim, yes, sorry.
Motion and second for Brian Alvey, Kim Smith, and Jeanette Lincoln. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Drainage Board, 1 appointment needed, and we have 1 that has applied for reappointment, Mr. Eder.
Since I sat on that board, I'm going to ask for Mr. Robert Eder because we're really deep into a lot of stuff and he's been on board with that all the way. It would take a lot to bring somebody up to speed. So I'm going to move for Mr. Etter to remain sitting on there.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Motion carries. Plan Commission, we have one. And resigning is Peter
I think it's actually Pat.
Cochran.
For Connor.
So just for the record, Mr. Vakatarin resigned. His term expires on 12/31/22. So the person that you appoint would just fill that spot until 12/31/22.
Okay. Sir, you're on that board. You have.
Commissioner, I would
Yeah.
lean to you on that one. You're on that board.
Because there is a political affiliation required on that appointment. Just checking here to make sure I don't.
Violate anything.
Yeah. Give me
Well, I
the
think
wrong-
right now, actually, the note here says that the new appointee can be of any party. So you must have, what, 3 of each right now? How many are on there? 7 or 9?
7 in there. Is there 9?
9?
There's
Okay,
9.
then maybe you have 4 of each right now.
That's a big board.
She just has a note that says there's no issue at this time with more than 4 of the same party affiliation.
Well, I was gonna, I'm just checking here, hold on, let me go back. Dale Sedler, given his employment history and experience, looks like he would be an asset on that board, and he does meet the political requirement if there that we've had in the past, so. I'll go ahead and recommend Dale Sedler
Second.
to replace Pat Burkott.
I have a motion and a second for Mr. Sedler. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Motion carries. Greenwood Public Library, 1 appointment, and we have 1 applying for reappointment, Tamara Russell.
Move to approve Tamara Russell.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Motion carried. Peter Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals, 2 needed, and we have 2 applying for reappointment.
I would move to put the 2 back on Billy Sellers and Mr. Tim Williams.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the reappointments. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Barnesville Fire Protection District Board, we have 1 that needs to be filled and 1 reapplying, Amanda Martin.
Move to approve Miss Amanda Martin.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to reappoint. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Hensley Fire Protection District Board. Yeah, anybody else will be here for that or not? We need 1,
I'll take
or no, we need, 1.
1 of each.
Right, you need 1 from Hensley Township, 1 from Franklin Township, and 1 at large. So that's why they're kind of color coded there.
Right.
We're on Burgersville, right?
Hensley.
Hensley.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
You're on that page at the bottom.
I'm gonna do
I had a recommendation on that, I think.
you, well, if you do,
I think I had one from the chief.
I think we all do. Hold on here a second.
Did you get it too?
I think so. Just
I
a
thought I
second.
sent it on. But I'd like to see what that was.
Yeah, just a second.
It's been so long ago now.
I know, you're right.
Mr. Stinson and Mr. Volts is being recommended, just so we know. Mr. Volts is qualified for that. Mr. Stinson, by what I'm seeing, may not be, so. And those are at large, so that may resolve itself in depending on.
So why don't we go with? I'll throw something out there. I'll say Greg Wood for the Inslee Township, Dave Porter for Franklin Township, and then if you want to go with
Jeremy Volts.
Vols.
I don't know. I can't even see it, so.
Greg Wood. Who was the other one I had?
David Porter,
David Porter and Jeremy
Bowles. Have a motion and a second for those three. Any issues?
You're fine, but for the record, we're just gonna say that Gregory Wood would be in the Hensley Township spot,
Right.
David Porter would be in the Franklin Township spot, and Jeremy Bowles would be in the at-large spot.
At large spot, yes, ma'am. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This is where it gets monotonous. Need them.
That's an easy one.
Well, yeah.
Kind
So
of for 1 year.
he is, last year he came in and he was only going to serve this year, and he understands the difficulties that we have in finding applicants in that area. So he's willing to serve again until the end of 2022. But I also promised Larry Jesse, the attorney, that we would really try to find somebody else eligible in that spot.
They're tough sometimes.
Or
I
make it
wonder
an
if
at-large
maybe
spot.
is Terry still on that board, I assume?
Yeah,
Maybe he can,
yeah, you could try to find somebody.
maybe he
Very
can
good.
try to find, I'll make contact with Terry, see if he can.
Yeah, so this one would just be till the end of 2022 for now.
So I would move Mr. Delbert Craig is sitting on with only a 1-year term to the end of 22.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any further? And then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Now fire protection. We have one that needs to be appointed and one that's on our list.
I would go with Mr. Andrew Thames.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. White River, we have one up, and then Michael Garrison is applying for reappointment.
White Michael Garrison.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for Mr. Garrison. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
You did it. You don't have to.
We're good.
You did it. You're done. Good job. So efficient.
No blood withdrawal.
So far. Well, maybe a little.
Yeah.
New and old business, appoint capital improvement board member Jamie Bowler Smith.
Move to approve on recommendations of Hamilton County.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Unless we find somebody from Johnson.
One of these days would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Years ago, when that thing first started, I had an interest in being on that, but after I saw how that board functions over the years, it's be a waste of time going.
It's more stress than it's worth.
Yeah, more stress.
I get that. Under new and old business, the rejection of the sheriff building bid.
I would so accept that.
Brian, that was the one where we only
We were way
received the
too,
one
yeah,
bid,
we were,
right?
way over budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is just a
And that
formal
is-
rejection to
yeah.
opt into our,
Rebid process.
yeah.
Which I think Wes is already working on. Yes, sir. Have a motion.
No, you don't need one. You're good.
need to.
We don't need
For the
anything.
record, you've rejected it.
We reject it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Made that easier. No wonder Ron was sitting over there wondering what I'm looking at him for. Claims and credit card.
Well, when I got this claims, especially credit cards, IT, community corrections, coroner, animal control, and adult probation hadn't sent their manifest in. And I forgot to check with Annette this morning to see if we had received those. Obviously, they're important on approving the credit card charges. Under the claims, though, I had two things. I always like to have one for the sheriff, Andy. I'm sorry. Sheriff had a 100-foot extension cord for $159. Been buying those at Menards for like 21 bucks. I'm just curious of what kind of extension cord.
Maybe there's more than one.
I'm not sure. All right, and then CASA, of course, is kind of an animal unto itself, and their expenditures are mostly related to the volunteer people who work with over there at CASA, but they had a claim for balloon artists, $600, and I just curious, Ms. Auditor, as to what that could have been.
I'll have to double check to make sure, but at the end of the year, they have special events for their volunteers and things that they have X amount of money that is donated or granted for the sole purpose of that. So my guess is they've hired someone to come in as entertainment for one of those things, but I'll be
More
happy
likely.
to let you know.
More than likely, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it normally is.
Other than that, I move to approve claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner minutes, 11/22/21 regular, 11/22/21 special joint meeting with the ARPA committee, and 12/6/2021 regular meeting.
Move to approve all three.
Second.
Motion second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, 5 minutes or less, if anyone is interested.
I got something too before we get done.
I don't know if you need name and
Yes, please.
Kathleen Ratcliffe, KATHLEEN RATCLIFF.
Your address?
I'm here on behalf of Upstream Prevention. So our address is 3209 West Smith Valley in Greenwood. And it's 46142.
Thank you. Carry on, ma'am.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for letting me speak. As I mentioned, I'm here with Upstream Prevention. I'm the executive director and also the chair of the Suicide Prevention Coalition. And I just wanted to give you a heads up as a notification that the coalition and Upstream were in process of launching a new initiative called Atlas. It's assisting through loss after suicide. So there was an article actually in the Daily Journal last week, I think, about it. And we just received some seed funding from the Community Foundation, but we're applying to the state to get a little bit more money. And one of the things that we have to list is your all's name as commissioners. And I just wanted to make sure that you all knew it was happening. We're working with Mike Pruitt and the coroner's office. So Atlas is will be a volunteer-driven organization that provides support to individuals who have lost a loved one by suicide. So after a death by suicide, we can provide extra resources and support, materials, some of that stigma reduction, and just that reinforcement that they're not alone. Because when somebody dies by suicide, we have that grief that we experience, but also a lot of isolation and some of those challenges. And so this group would be to break down some of those challenges and provide that extra resource and support. We don't have anything that we need from you all right now, other than I just want you to know that it exists. you have questions, if I can answer questions, if that's allowed here, I'm happy to do that. But more of, we're listening you all down as our county commissioners for this application. And if somebody calls one of you and says, do you know about this? I wanted you to be able to say, I think so, maybe, right?
Do you work in the area of awareness of potential suicide? In other words, maybe a family member recognizes that another family member is having certain problems. Do you work in that area also?
Yes, so that's a lot of what Upstream does, Upstream Prevention, as well as the Suicide Prevention Coalition. We focus very heavily on recognizing warning signs, what to do if you're concerned about someone. We have a lot of community trainings that people can go to learn more about, I am concerned, what do I need to look for, those types of things. So that's all on that kind of proactive prevention side. Atlas is, we see it as postvention as prevention, so coming in after a death, and how can we then provide resources and support. We know that individuals who have lost a loved one to suicide are at a higher risk for suicide themselves. So how can we get to them kind of as a postvention as prevention? But yes, in that prevention world, that's what Upstream does quite a bit of, as well as the Suicide Prevention Coalition.
Great. Well, I support for sure what you guys are doing. It's a great effort. Unfortunately, it's needed in our county, and I assume other counties are like-minded in that effort also.
Yeah, the state right now has money to launch, I think, up to 25 or so over the next 5 years. And so we're hoping we might be able to get in the first or second year to get just a little bit of extra money to support us. But like I said, it's one of those that at the moment, we don't have a big ask. We just want you to know we exist, or are trying to exist. We're not
Yeah.
launched yet.
I know since our current coroner began to give us a monthly report, what an eye opener that's been in relation to suicides and drug overdoses that we experience. So thank you guys very much for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any questions or Chief Deputy Barnhart?
Chief.
Commissioner West, that extension cord was a 240 volt extension cord. That's why it's so expensive. It was for some equipment in the basement.
All right, thank you.
Probably 3-pronged special.
240 volt would be special.
Yeah, that would be special.
Yeah.
Probably about
Thank
this
you,
big
Chief.
around too.
Betsy Swearingen, Director, Health Department. Just a quick shout out to Kathleen. We are also partnered with them on this substance abuse disorder grant through the State Department of Health and with the coroner's office, the sheriff's office, JMH. Probation, juvenile and adult probation. So it's a great organization. They're out there working hard to
Good.
find
Yeah.
good money and do good things.
Thank you very much, Betsy. We do appreciate all that those organizations do for the people that need help in our community. I appreciate it greatly, I know. Anything else? All
I've
hearts and
got
minds free and
one
clear except for Commissioner Walls.
Last week, we were Johnson County with the Ready Grant Program. I don't know if anybody's heard about that. We were awarded $20 million for our 180 Alliance for the 6 counties that are aligned together. Now, that's all I'm going to say about it because there's not much direction after that. So it's been like that since day one. But
Kinda like ARPA.
we were part of an award of $20 million. So I just wanted to, general public needs to know that, and we'll see where it goes from here. So,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in how that money's redistributed amongst the participants in that 180 alliance.
might be a bare knuckles fight. I don't know.
I think it probably will be. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nothing brings out the best in us like money.
Nothing brings out the best in us like wasting money
Yeah.
when it comes to government, but anyway.
just wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year. We won't see you again until after the first of the year. Well, we might have a special meeting.
Yeah, we
We
got,
got
yeah,
a
sure
special
if we
meeting
got
coming in, but
Yeah.
for the most public, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Um,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
I would move for adjournment.
Second.
have a motion and a second. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.